Andrew and Allie put together a really cool Ultimate World Cruise March Madness bracket for ports from Miami to Sydney. So let's go. First, we've got Chichen Itza versus Guatemala, and then Pisco, Peru versus Honolulu. So I picked Chichen Itza over Guatemala or Cozumel, Mexico, because it was my first time in Mexico and it was first world wonder on our excursion or on our trip, and that was just so fun. And then I picked Honolulu, because that's where I got to see family, and it was really nice because it just felt long overdue to see them and to be able to spend time with them. Next up, we've got Antarctica versus Valparaiso, Chile, and Arico, Chile versus Punta Arenas, Chile. So for this, I picked Antarctica over Valparaiso, of course. Valparaiso was a really cool place, but Antarctica is Antarctica, and it was just absolutely stunning and amazing. And then I picked Arica, Chile, because it was Carnival, and it was just so fun. We didn't know it was going to be Carnival, and it was just one of those perfect coincidences. And then we've got Aruba up against Montevideo, Uruguay. We know how that's going to go. And then Machu Picchu, Lima, Peru versus French Polynesia. So I picked Montevideo. I want to live there. It was a no-brainer. I absolutely love it. I want to move there. And then even though we didn't go to Machu Picchu, I picked Machu Picchu. And I loved French Polynesia, of course, but Machu Picchu and Cusco has been on my bucket list forever. Next up, we've got Ushuaia, Argentina versus Fortaleza, Brazil, and then Puerto Madryn, Argentina versus Barbados. So I picked Ushuaia, Argentina. I had been there before, but I just love it. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful, and it's the end of the world. It's amazing. And then I picked Puerto Madryn. I didn't do any of the outdoorsy, naturey things that people typically do there, but I just had a really fun day with the family that just happened by accident, and I loved it. Next up, we've got St. George's, Grenada versus Bay of Islands, New Zealand, and then Cabo, Mexico versus La Serena, Chile. So I picked Bay of Islands. I love it. I'd been to Bay of Islands before, but it's just absolutely stunning and beautiful and one of my favorite places. And then I did select La Serena, Chile. It was kind of an interesting port because where we were was not La Serena, but when I made my way there, I was able to see this Moray statue, which was amazing. Next up, we've got Lima, Peru versus Bonaire, and then Rio versus LA. So for this one, I did pick Lima. I did not spend a lot of time in Lima because of the trip to Cusco, but when we came back, we got like a 7-hour tour of Lima, and it was so fun just to hang out with the friends. And then Christ the Redeemer versus LA. I picked Christ the Redeemer. Been to LA a handful of times, and I do love Target, but this was a whole other experience. All right, then we've got Sydney, Australia versus Buenos Aires, Argentina, and then Punta Arenas, Costa Rica versus Moorea, French Polynesia. And even though this isn't Buenos Aires, technically, I flew from Buenos Aires, I'm counting this as Iguazu Falls for Buenos Aires. I loved it. It was amazing. I want to go back. And then Costa Rica versus Moorea. Hands down, it was Moorea. Moorea all day, yeah. I loved it so much. It was beautiful. Okay, last up, we've got Recife, Brazil, or Ensenada, Mexico, and then Auckland, New Zealand, or Caracas. And so I picked Recife, Brazil. It was really fun. I had a great day. We did a tour as a family and just got out and explored the various parts of the city. And it was really, really interesting. And then I picked Auckland. Even though this is technically outside of Auckland, this is on Waiheke, which is one of the wine islands, but I loved it. New Zealand's amazing.